Loving God is the most beautiful thing every Christian must encounter. Come on, it's wonderful. Let me just start by saying, loving God has nothing to do with how wonderful your life is, how blessed you are, even if it's God that is blessing you, how holistically religious you are. It's independent of religious activities or how committed you are to the things of God. Well, it's still independent of that. Loving God has nothing to do with how fulfilled you are in His purpose. You can be so fulfilled in the ministry, yet you love God, but you are only loving Him based on the things you are experiencing, the fame, the money, the accolades, the honor, the respect. So that is still conditional love, which is the state of like 90% of the Christians in this world. Many are like for the things they benefit from God. Yours might not be as pronounced as that, but if you want to ask yourself that even should you be thrown into the prison, we used to be so much in love with God that you can look at Him and smile and say, I know you're with me. You see, loving God has everything to do with the state of your heart. It's loving God unconditionally. Yes, you can do that. And when you love God unconditionally, you'll be able to love others unconditionally. That is just the basic secret. Because you cannot love the way God loves and still find it hard to love some people that are unlovable. You just look at them and smile. Because you see beyond their weaknesses. You see beyond their loopholes, their shortcomings. That doesn't mean you tolerate all their excesses and disrespect. No. But even when they misbehave, you easily let go and forgive. Why? Because you love the way God loves. And you cannot give what you don't have. Let's check the people of the world. Let's analyze. See the way they fall in and out of love. Though even some Christians, what is just holding us is just like the biblical engagement. Thou shalt love your neighbor as yourself. But the truth is, do we even love ourselves? But back to what we say. How much do you love God? It has nothing to do with your problems, your blessings, how well things are going on with you, a good job, a beautiful house, a fat bank account and the likes. It has nothing to do with all that. It's in your heart. Do you daily walk with God? Do you daily speak to God? It might not be long hours of prayers. There's this joy, this smile. Come on. Oh, if you're yet to experience that, that should be your quest for the remaining parts of this year. Even for the next year coming. Make that your number one tag. I want to love God. Loving Him will cost you to give everything. If you're still with the mindset that how can I give my everything to God? Permit me to tell you that might be an unwise decision. You might be one of the most unwise in the world, if that exists. Because this is someone that has everything in the universe. And He has more behind. And He gives you a little. Later, He asks you to give it to Him. So, it's like out of the abundance of God, He's asking you to surrender the little you have so that He can give you more. But you feel so blinded by no, I cannot give you everything I have. I need to share and give you some. No. If you are still at that stage, then you are yet to know God. You are yet to know Him deeper. You are yet to comprehend His magnitude, His fullness. That He is the God of abundance. That God, if I should empty my bank account for you without questioning you, I don't care what you want to use it for. Give, I give. Daughter, sacrifice your house. Okay, God. To who? That's the next question. Not but why, how come, when, give me some time, let me negotiate. No. Because you are confident that the man asking you to give your house has the entire universe. He constructs them without brick. He constructs them without the help of the engineers. So he's ready and is capable to give me 10 mansions without paying a dime. See, this God is interested. This God is sweet. I think this year I have this feeling that God is just helping me to tell Christians to step out of religiosity, this religious nature. There is more to Christ. There is more to God than this. God is your Father. I know this might hurt a few people, but I don't mean to make you feel emotional. But I think I am blessed by God to have a beautiful relationship with my parents, especially my father. You know, sometimes when I talk to him and I was like, daughter, don't worry about that. I will handle that. I'll say, no, Dad, I've been cracking my brain for months. How will I go? He said, daughter, do not worry about that. Now that I'm aware, I'm going to handle that. And you know, you're like, wow, hey, Dad. You know, I'm blessed by God. It's an opportunity. It's a privilege. Because I believe I'm not better than those that do not have this privilege. So I'm blessed by God to have this beautiful relationship with my Father. And then I think it is through it God begins to work with me to understand them better, that if your earthly father could be this way, now times 1 million of it is not compared to 1% of him. Can you grasp that? That this beautiful relationship with my Father, despite his shortcomings, multiplied by 1 million, that would be like, wow, is not compared to the 1% of the magnitude, the nature of God. So definitely there is more to God. I want you to fall in love with God. Come on. I want you to fall in love with this faithful friend. This faithful friend and Father. Faithful friend and Father. If you know the song, go search it out. So I want you to, even if you do not have a earthly father, even if you're still wondering what is this Christianity all about, or what they shout is Jesus, Jesus. I'm not here to shout Jesus to you. I'm here to tell you there is a lover. He's ready to love you the way you are. Even when others are saying, yeah, you have anger issues, you are this, you are that. They are right. But you know what your Father is saying? Come, daughter, you're mine. I love you the way you are. Give me some time, let me work on you through this. And there's nothing as beautiful, as romantic as that. You think you have a romantic spouse? Test Jesus. As in, come and taste of Jesus. Then you will know the difference between romance and romance. Come on. He is the faithful Father that remains faithful even when you are unfaithful. His love is not based on anything. The day I realized that God knew about my weaknesses even before I get to this stage, that day I was melted by His love. Come on. I don't want to be emotional now. Now, but just to tell us about the magnitude of the love of Christ for us. You're struggling with an addiction, He's not condemning you. He is aware of them ever before you were born. So He has created an accommodation for that what? Struggles. You're falling and rising. Till when He gets here and I was like, son, give me your hand. Let me drag you up. He said, it's beautiful as that. You know, when you know that what you're doing is not strange to Jesus, it's not a surprise to the Father. Oh, come on. When others will be like, what? Jesus, I cannot imagine she did that. You mean our pastor's wife did this? Come on. They are the one with the problems and the headache. God is saying, to them you are pastor's wife. To me you are my precious child. I knew aforetime that this will happen. Although I tried to save you, I tried to send signals, but your flesh was weak. Nevertheless, come, daughter, let us walk through this healing so that you will come out strong. You know, even if your husband could say that, I imagine how you will feel. You'll be melted in love. But I'm sure, I doubt if an human being will say that, because they will want to try to still chastise you and ask you why. God will never ask you why. Do you know what He will say? Come, just the way you are. Come on. I want you to fall in love with God. If you are not yet in love with God, I think you're still in depression. Yep. Because you will be up experiencing mood swings. And nobody on earth can love you the way your Father loves you. You don't take it or you leave it. Not even your earthly father, not even your best spouse in the world, as in if in genuineness, he is the best spouse or she is the best spouse in the world. They can't still love you the way God will love you. Because someone that is the best, we expect some level of perfection from you. But there's someone that has prepared in advance an allowance for your weaknesses, for your sins, because he knows he's there as a father to always protect, to shield, to guide. When others castigate, condemns, he's there to tell you, come with me, you man. With me, you are strong. With me, you are righteous. With me, you are what I say you are, not what they say they are. Come on. I love you, Lord. I remember when my little girl now, my big girl now, used to be a baby, a toddler. As in, oftentimes when I'm doing the devotion with her, I will always say, Mom loves she, and we're like, I love you, Lord. We do this like this bisou, sending some kisses to the hair. And she'll be looking at me and say, yeah, we need to tell God we love him. And she was fond of doing it growing up. And I just like, God truly will love you. There's this joy, there's this fulfillment, there's this safety that comes with it. You might not see him, but you will always feel him near you. This is not something spectacular or extraordinary. Like I said, it's just the condition of your heart. It's not something that is just being imaginative. No, but that's the reality. And you will find yourself talking to God as if you're actually talking to a lover. Like this morning, I remember I was bored and I stepped out of the bedroom and it was like, I just sat down somewhere. I was like, okay, you know what? I know I had this ungodly thoughts. I know this, but you just have to forgive me and pardon me. And I felt this peace like, okay, so what's that? I was like, oh. But what I did was not, what I was thinking was, it was like, there was this dialogue in my spirit and I was like, okay, so? And I just smiled. I was like, God, thank you for loving me, for not judging me on every slight fall. Because even me as human, I think, if you misbehave too much, I will have to tell you, enough is enough. But God is never like that. This is not an avenue for us to abuse grace. But the truth is, you can't even abuse grace. Because when you're in love with someone, you always want to do things that pleases the person. So let's even forget that subject. It has nothing to do with that. When I hear people say they abuse and misuse grace, the first thing that comes to my mind is, in the first place, they were not of God. And that's the truth. In the first place, they never liked God. They never loved God. They are just in God because of what they are benefiting. We need to be very clear and distinct about that. There are no mix-ups. So it's out of question, it's out of discussion, it's out of talk that do not abuse grace because God accommodates our excesses. No, you cannot, because truly, if you are in love with God, you will see him as your lover. You'll be very sensitive, that's the word, to every of his gestures, not even his moves. Every of his gestures, you will know, you will feel when God winks. Because your conscience is in alignment with the Spirit. Because your heart beats as one with his heart. So when something is about, you will feel it. So you cannot abuse the grace of loving God or of him loving you. Make this your priority. This coming year 2023, if the Lord spares our life, deliberate in falling in love with God. But like I always say, all this starts by walking with God. It's not about praying every midnight, fasting 10 times a week, doing 10 hours Bible study every day. No. When you're in love with someone, every second you check up on the person. They might not be long discussions. Sometimes you send messages. Sometimes it might just be a Bible verse that will drop into your mind and you're like, wow, that's God. Things, natures will speak to you. And one thing is, in everything you do, unconsciously you will always see God in it. Because you send your lover. He's sending you messages that is with you. Oh, God. Oh. Anyways, I hope this will bless someone and fall in love with God with me. With God, there are no rivals. We can all fall in love with Him. He has the heart to accommodate as many lovers as possible. And that is another thing that's impossible with man. I mean, with human. The jealousy, like you are having another person, loving the person just the way you love me is impossible. But with God, it is possible. And He deals with each and every one of us, each of us, independently. He releases His abundance, Himself, His entity, His entire nature to every one of us. They will always say, it is the way you walk with God that He walks with you. It is the way you empty yourself to God that He fills you in. You know, also when you're in love with God, many things that people do will not matter. Yes. I wish I can find someone that will confirm this with me. Just drop it down in the comment section. Like when you're in love with God, you are not being a fanatic. I'm sure someone will see me and say, I'm not a fanatic. I live my normal life. But, you know, there is this divine security, this peace. So when things are happening around you, okay, let me just say, it takes time for you to be moved by situations. And even when you will be moved, people will like, wow, I think he's now at the peak. And those are just few of the benefits of walking with God, of loving Him, of falling in love with Him. He is a father. He is a lover. He is the best friend. With God, your secrets are secured. I don't think sometimes you need to call you. Yes, God called us. Well, that's the truth. Because you're safe in His hands. Sometimes I can feel so emotional. I just like, I want to sleep. And I cover myself like, God, hold me tight in your hands. And you will see me sleeping peacefully. I wake up with a smile. There's nothing as beautiful as that because He is there watching over you every minute of the way. Wow. Stay blessed.